Guys, welcome to Plan the Day on Tomorrow. I am Gary Thurman. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube and are listening to us on the radio station today. You can hear our show all over Chattanooga, all over Knoxville, Tennessee, and with YouTube, you can listen to us anywhere you want in the world, actually.
But you get to watch us that way.
You can listen to a lot of us.
You get to watch us that way.
And you get to watch us, which you might not. I'm not beautiful or not beautiful.
Oh, hey.
I mean,
I think I look pretty this
I got a new
morning.
haircut.
Man, your hair looks good this morning, Bobby. One thing you'll just notice, we have a lot of fun on this show. Yes, we talk about money, but we try to make it fun. We try to make it educational. We don't go after any sales pitch on this show. Purely educational is our goal, and we definitely try not to get political. So we're going to talk about some things today. Guys, I want to tell you why I wanted to do this show today. Tell McDermott, how you guys doing this morning?
Good,
Awesome.
good.
Awesome.
Thought out.
Glad you guys are thawed out. Yeah, it's a little chilly out there. My dog is so mad at me right now. The last 2 mornings, he has stood by that front door like, let's go, Daddy. You my time. I'm like, love you, bud. Not happening.
I think when I left this morning, the thermometer in the truck said 18 degrees.
Yeah,
18,
yeah. I
solid.
just can't do it. That's just too cold. But here in Chattanooga, we're lucky enough to be part of a show called This and That with James Howard on News Channel 9. We do this every other Friday around 12:30, 12:45. And you know what? I went to James last week and I said, James, I really want to try to create some urgency and really talk about breaking down while Tim, while Bobby, while Brogan, while we're talking about Roth conversions so much. So I thought we'd just carry that over to the show. And something I did over the week is I actually created a report that we're going to give away today, and it's all digital, so we'll email this report to you. And it's a really cool report because it's going to tell you about current tax laws. It's going to talk about national debt. It's going to talk about inflation, and it's really going to tell you why right now is an opportunity that you might not ever get again to get some taxable money over to tax-free money in a Roth conversion. And again, this show's about facts. We're going to talk about opportunities for you. Because at Guardian, the Roth conversion window we think is really, really coming down the pipeline. Can I start, guys, and then we go from there?
Fire away.
I just want to talk about some national debt. Last year, 2025, our great United States, $1.8 trillion budget deficit. Wow. What does that mean, Bobby? A budget deficit?
That means we're spending $8 trillion more dollars last year than we brought in.
That's insane.
That's right.
So income, that's good old taxes, right?
I saw something this morning when I was getting ready. The last president to balance the budget
Clinton, I
was
believe.
Clinton.
Clinton, yep.
In the early 90s. They made a big deal out of it. There was a picture of him and Vice President Al Gore standing on stage and writing this year's budget deficit, and he drew a 0 and made a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
But what amazed me is it further went to say if we'd have kept on that path,
Yeah.
we would have wiped out our national deficit by 2009.
Wow.
Clearly that didn't happen.
Yeah, clear that didn't happen. So let's national debt, $38 trillion. Now, our viewers, I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. Our national debt by $70,000 per second, $4.2 million per minute, $252 million per hour, and this is the big one, boys, $6 billion a day.
That's wild.
$6 billion.
6 million.
$6 billion.
A day.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it million?
It's got to be.
Look that up.
We're two.
It is
I'm
billion,
thinking.
yeah.
I'm thinking billion a year. Man.
Deficit right now facing a $2.2 trillion year, boys.
You know,
And I'm sorry. That's a lot of money.
But to make a point about the joke we just made, it's really hard to comprehend, right?
Sure.
When you start talking about billions,
It's big.
$2 million during the show today.
Yep.
So let's talk about this window we can see right now, gentlemen. You know, the big, beautiful bill was passed last year, July of last year, I think it was passed. And, you know, we were able to carry over the 2017 tax laws, which is pretty awesome. I mean, seriously, that's an awesome thing for America. Third lowest tax bracket we've ever been in our great United States. But, Tim, 2026, 2028, why does that matter?
So the current administration is set to stay in place until end of 2028. Really, midterm elections are this year.
That's
right.
right.
And so potentially we see the House or the Senate, maybe both flip. And statistically, we'll probably see one or the other, if not both, flip. We usually see that when you have a all red or all blue party in office, and then you hit midterm elections. A couple big things that happened recently were the One Big Beautiful Bill, right? And when that passed, it turned our current tax status to a permanent tax status. If you're watching YouTube.
All right, Bobby, you got it. Bobby, go ahead and say it. You got permanent.
It's permanent until it's not.
That's right.
If you're watching us, you just saw me do air quotes.
And any House, Senate, any government could come in, change those tax laws at any time. But right now, there's no sunset on the current tax laws.
That's right.
We know they'll be in place till the end of 2028. One of the big beautiful bill was a temporary additional $6,000 per person tax deduction for individuals over the age of 65. So if you're over the age of 65, it could be that you have retired, lowered your current tax bracket, and now might be one of the most advantageous times for you to start considering Roth conversions because you're getting that additional deduction on top of a lower tax bracket than when you were working.
Yeah, I think that $6,000 a person, is as big of a deal for Roth conversions as making the brackets permanent until 2028. Because for a married couple, that's an extra $12,000 you don't have to pay taxes on.
That's right.
So instead of getting a big refund every year, why don't you use that exemption to convert some more Roth money to Roth?
That's right.
So,
It just
so
made that
Bobby,
even better.
we're 65 and above. We're a married couple. We're falling jointly right now, which is the best tax bracket you can be in. And again, we're in the third lowest tax bracket we've ever been in. You're saying, and viewers right now, that we can take $12,000 and convert it from taxable money to tax-free money after 5 years, which we'll talk about that later. But you could do a $12,000 conversion because you're getting that $12,000 buffer right now.
Yeah, you could potentially do $12,000 more than you would have otherwise been able to do, right? Because you got that additional credit. So not only are we the third lowest tax bracket we've ever been in through 2028, but now you got a little more wiggle room. So if you're not sitting down with your planner or your tax guy or gal, man, the window now is just as sweet as it's ever been.
I think so.
So look more for certainty versus hope.
Yeah. I mean,
And is this one of those situations where they could be certain about a few things?
yeah, absolutely. When we talk about certainty, that might, anytime somebody says certainty, my head goes straight to the market, right? Because, and I know it sounds counterintuitive.
No, don't. I got you.
But it's funny because the market certainty, right? And that's really kind of the emotional drive of the market and how folks get thrown off. And so that's why we end up seeing shakiness, especially in a midterm election year like this. So people are looking for certainty. It's really a fact that people are looking for that certainty. Having an understanding of how to do this, when to do it, in what amount to do it, that's what creates the certainty and a plan put in place.
Yeah. And a lot of people, Bobby, I'm going to go to you on this one. And I've heard conversations that you guys have had with clients. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to swallow paying more money. I get it. It's hard to swallow paying more money, but people are not thinking about the required minimum distributions. At some point,
That's right. So this year, required minimum distributions begin at age 73. By 2030, it'll be age 75. And all that means is all that pre-tax money you put away in IRAs and 401ks, you're going to get forced distributions out of those accounts.
That's right.
And why does that matter? It matters because even if you don't need to spend it, you still got to take it, and it still shows up on your income tax return.
That's right.
As taxable income at ordinary income tax rates, just like your paycheck. And so if you can avoid or lessen those RMDs in retirement, that's really going to help you keep more money in your pocket long term.
So, Tim, somebody's 65 years old. Let's say they do Roth conversions over the next 5 years. When they hit 73, that bucket of money, that Roth IRA, they are not required to take money out in RMDs. Is that correct?
That's right. That's one of the beautiful things about doing Roth conversions. Not only are you taking taxable assets and turning them into tax-free assets for you and your beneficiaries, but you're not forcing yourself to take an income that you didn't necessarily want. And if you ever do reach in and pull money out of those Roth IRAs, it does not affect other taxable brackets that are in place. two really good things that work wonders, especially as you look later on down the time frame.
Yeah, folks, we're sitting on opportunity, and that's why we created the Roth conversion fact sheet, and we're happy to send that out to you in digital form, absolutely free. It's going to talk about our current tax laws. It's going to talk about the national debt. It's going to talk about the hidden tax, which I call inflation, which in 2025 was at 2.7%. It's not going to go away. Cost of goods are still going to be continuing to go up. But the Roth conversion fact sheet, if you would like for us to send this to you in digital form, just text the word Roth. 423-710-9199. Again, 423-710-9199. Text the word Roth. My wife will out to you, get your information, get your email, and we'll send you out that fact sheet ASAP. Then give us a call at that same number, 423-710-9199. Come in and have a complimentary review. Is a Roth conversion right for you? They will be honest with you. They'll be upfront with you because it might not be right for you. But in most cases, we're seeing that it plainly is. Another thing that we'd like to offer you is a copy of my book, Plan Today, Own Tomorrow. Book, 423-710-9199. Now, kind of cool, we can text this to you, we can email this to you, or we can make it like 423-710-9199. Text the word book. Same thing, my wife's going to reach out, get your information, we'll get it right out to you. So, don't forget, folks, we're in a window of opportunity. And what I really want to dig into here in a few minutes, guys, is the numbers that are driving the conversation that we're having right now. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hi, my name is Gary Thurman, owner and CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. For years, thousands of retirees and pre-retirees build a confident, predictable, and stress-free retirement plan. If you've worked hard for 30, 40 years, you deserve a retirement that works for you, not one filled with uncertainty, rising healthcare costs, or market concerns. At Guardian Investment Advisors, we take a comprehensive approach to retirement. That means we help you with building a reliable income plan so you know exactly where your paychecks will come from. Navigate Medicare with clarity, making sure you pick the right coverage to avoid costly mistakes. Preparing for long-term care needs with smart planning and protection strategies. Managing your investments with a personalized, tailored to your goals, risk tolerance, and your retirement timeline. Reduce taxes wherever possible with proactive planning so you keep more of your hard-earned savings. You deserve a retirement plan built specifically for you, not a one-size-fits-all approach. Plan your retirement the right way. Call us today or connect with us options below. Let's get started empowering your retirement. Thank you. Welcome back to Plan Today on Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman. Glad to be here with you guys today. I'm the host of Plan Today on Tomorrow. I'm here with my good friends, Bobby Futch, Tim McDermott. You can hear us on all kinds of radio stations in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Knoxville, Tennessee, and as we said earlier, you can watch us on YouTube live. And as Tim pointed out, you can not only hear us, but you can see us. And the day, and that's not a fun thing to talk about, but I think we're bringing some education to our listeners, gentlemen. I want to go back over our national debt numbers really, really quick for you because that's really what's pushing this conversation. Again, we're $38 trillion in debt, $70,000 per second, $4.2 million per minute, $252 million per hour, and $6 billion a day. We just had a 12-minute first segment.
Yeah, you want to hear something depressing? Since the show started, the government has added $50,400,000 to the national deficit
in that 12 minutes.
In that 12 minutes.
In that 12 minutes. And gentlemen, I know we talk about this and we talk about it all the time. This window of opportunity is pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. And I think I had a conversation, me and Brogan had a conversation with someone in Knoxville just last week, and we were having the conversation about Roth conversions. And there is no way I can take this chunk of money, pay all the and convert to a Roth IRA. I think, Tim, I'll go to you on this. I think a lot of people don't understand you don't have to do it all at once. Mathematically, that does make sense. But you can spread this out over the 3-year period we're facing right now, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And likely we're even stretching it out longer than that for a lot of folks, right? And typically when we run a pretty intricate software program to take care of this, right? It timelines out your income and what kind of tax levels you're going to be at, and then helps us fill certain brackets that you may already be in. or maybe jumps up a bracket depending on your situation. This could be crucial. This is crucial to how the conversion is done, and it has to be done and taken with care. Each year that we do a conversion is a sit-down conversation with that client to make sure that we understand that we can blueprint this, we can project things all day,
right?
But life is life, right?
Yeah,
things happen.
Yeah,
tax brackets change. You may spend more than you thought you were going to because AC went out or whatever the case may be, and all that can affect how your income looks and what happens.
Sorry, Tim.
You're good.
One of the most important things we look at, and I think a lot of people don't understand, is at least for the first handful of years that you're taking RMDs, not only are you going to take money out of the account, but the growth rate will probably replace that plus some. So that RMD problem that we talk about tends to compound year over year over year.
Not only is the percentage going up, the value of the account's going up.
Yeah, so being able to project what those RMDs might be and being able to look at that is one of the reasons why you may go up an income tax bracket to convert. It may make sense.
Yeah.
Right, but you have to sit down again and have a comprehensive look at it to see if that makes sense.
I wrote this down this morning, guys. When debt grows this fast, again, what we just gave the numbers. When debt grows this fast, the government looks for revenues. And retirement accounts are in the obvious place. What do you think about that, Bob?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. RMDs are, in my opinion, that's the only reason they exist, right? Is to go ahead and get tax revenue on that money that the government's never got it. But you can also see that when, it's been 3-4 times in my relatively short career that, Roth IRAs, have been put on the chopping block. Or the government's going to try to tax those. But again, it may be something that in the future comes back in front of Congress. And oftentimes those things are grandfathered in, right? So if you have a big Roth IRA now, you might be protected. So that's another reason to do it.
So for a few minutes, and I don't have this in our notes, but let's talk about the rules of a Roth IRA.
Sure.
I think people need to understand how they work and when they can access this money tax-free.
Yeah, so if you're listening and you've kind of heard this word floating around, but you're not familiar with Roth IRAs, a Roth IRA is similar to a traditional IRA, the difference being that on a traditional tax deduction when you put the funds in, a Roth IRA, you pay the taxes when you go into the account, and on the back end, it's tax-free. So the growth and the withdrawals are tax-free as long as you follow the 5-year time rule, right? This is where things get a little complicated, but stick with me, I'll walk you through it. If you're making contributions to your 401k Roth or a traditional Roth IRA, then you are able to add to that account at a certain amount each year. That value will change. I think this year it's $7,500. 8,500 with catch-up, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and you get $1,000 catch-up if you're over 50.
That's right.
Yeah. So you can put up to that $8,500 a year into this account. Any more than that would have to go to a different type of account. That's the maximum that you're allowed to put into it. Once you make that contribution, it starts a 5-year clock. You're not allowed to access those funds until you're 59 and a half or older, and it's been in the account at least 5 years.
Right.
New contributions, so if you make a contribution next year, does not restart that 5-year clock. However, conversions work a little differently.
Okay.
Right? So let's say you have a large IRA right now and you say, I don't want this tax burden. I'd like to pay Uncle Sam off and be left alone, right? We can do conversions. The nice thing about this is there's no maximum. So like the contribution, you're limited to that $8,500 a year. You can convert as much as you want to in any given year. Could be $2, $3, $4 million all in 1 year if you want.
Yeah.
You just have to be willing to write that check to Uncle Sam when you do it.
Right.
When you do that conversion, it starts a 5-year clock.
Okay.
Now you can't reach in and take those funds out for 5 years from the date that conversion was done, and each conversion starts its own 5-year clock. So different than contributions, each conversion has its own 5-year clock.
Yeah. And Bobby, we're kind of focused right now on pre-retirees, retirees, which is great, right? So someone's 60, 65. I mean, wow, what a great time to do this before those RMDs hit down the road. But what about someone in their mid-40s, in their mid-50s, 40 to 60 years old that has old 401ks or 2 or 3 old 401ks out there? Is this a thought process they should be thinking about right now?
Yeah, I don't think this is something just pre-retirees and retirees should think about. If you are younger, you're starting your career, or maybe you're in your mid-30s.
I'd make the argument it's more crucial for you.
Right. You're probably going to later on in life, right? I hope so. And income tax rates are still super low. So if you got an old 401k or IRA, let's go ahead and Roth convert that sucker.
Not to mention, if you're in your 20s, 30s, you could have 20, 30 years of tax-free growth, compound growth.
Yeah.
I mean, if you understand the implications of compound interest, you would want to get that money tax-free as soon as possible.
Yeah, I sat down with my son, guys, a few weeks ago. Nick, works for a local logistics company here, and he got promoted. Really proud of him. But I said, let's look at everything you're doing inside of your 401k plan. Now, particular company, Bobby blows me away. They give him a 6% match on his traditional 401k.
Man, that's awesome.
That is incredible free money.
Yeah.
They do have a Roth version. So, Nick, I said, life is good right now. You're paying your bills. You just got a raise. Why don't we take that raise and throw it to the Roth bucket?
Yeah.
Of course, he's like, oh, I'd rather have the money in my pocket, Dad. I get that. But once we sat down, we had a conversation about it. He is out right now, but he's starting. I said, son,
Good.
By the time you are 60 years old, which is when you can pull this money out, your tax-free money, that life is going to be so good for you, Morgan and baby Hayes. I mean, isn't that crazy? He's 29 years old.
Yeah, if he can grasp that concept right now of not letting lifestyle creep come in, meaning, hey, I got an extra $20 this
Keep
week.
up with the Joneses.
Let's just go spend it, right? It's very easy for that $20 to just disappear.
Heck yeah.
He can throw it away right now. And I know Nick, right? And I know Nick's going through a lot right now because he's building a house, had a baby. I mean, he's got a lot going on. If he can get that principle intact right now, it's going to be killer for him later on.
Two things about 401ks that you just mentioned that I want to make sure that our listeners and viewers understand. Ks are really starting to offer Roth. It's been years, but a lot of them are starting to catch on.
Oh yeah.
So if you have a 401k plan at work and you don't know if there's a Roth option, go check that out.
Go to HR right now.
Yeah, and if they don't offer it, tell them, hey, you're behind the 8 ball. You need to start offering it because they can amend the program and do that if enough people ask. But the match is the important thing. Even if they have a Roth 401k option, most of the time the employer will not match those Roth contributions. And that's just a tax benefit for the employer, right?
Yeah.
They can't take that tax deduction. And so, in Nick's point, right, go % in the traditional to
free
get that
money,
free
baby.
money.
Yep.
But if you're going to do more than that, switch over to the Roth.
That's right.
Cool. So if you're someone out there in your mid-40s, Bobby and Tim said 20s, 30s, reach out. Let's have a conversation. And real quick, guys, I want to talk about this. Inflation. I think inflation is one of the silent killers out there because inflation doesn't send you a bill. It just keeps your cost of goods going up. Why is that so important for retirees?
We see a lot of income plans that are put together already, walk through our door, and they don't include taxes or inflation. And if that's not thought about in the plan, you'll end up 10, 20 years down the road very short of where you need to be.
It's crazy. I mean, the cost of goods are out there. Healthcare continues to go up. All the different things with groceries, utilities. And if you're retired and on a budget, that's a big deal. So you got to be able to plan for inflation, which I know Tim, Bobby, and Brogan do. One more time, I want to announce it for you guys. Not one more time. I'm going to announce it a few times, actually. The Roth Conversion Fact Sheet, something we've created to send to you in a digital form. I'll text the word Roth, 423-710-9199. Text the word Roth. We'll send that right out to you via email. We'll need to get your information, of course. And then we're always giving away my book, Plan Today on Tomorrow, absolutely free. We can do this through text it to you, we can email it to you, or we can put it in the mail and it will come to your front door. If you'd like a copy of the book, Plan Today on Tomorrow, text the word book, 423-710-9199. Now, after you get that fact sheet, give us a call. Come in for your complimentary review with Tim in Knoxville. Guys, take advantage of this opportunity because when we come back, we're going to talk about what Roth conversions actually solve. And you don't be right back. Hi, my name is Gary Thurman, owner and CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. For years, our team has helped thousands of retirees and pre-retirees build a confident, predictable, and stress-free retirement plan. If you've worked hard for 30, 40 years, you deserve a retirement that works for you, not one filled with uncertainty, rising healthcare costs, or market concerns. At Guardian Advisors, we take a comprehensive approach to retirement. That means we help you with building a reliable income plan so you know exactly where your paychecks will come from. Navigate Medicare with clarity, making sure you pick the right coverage to avoid costly mistakes. Preparing for long-term care needs with smart planning and protection strategies. Managing your investments with a personalized portfolio tailored to your goals, risk tolerance, and your retirement timeline. Reduce taxes wherever possible with proactive planning so you keep more of your hard-earned savings. You deserve a retirement plan built specifically for you, not a one-size-fits-all approach. Plan your retirement the right way. Call us today or connect with us using one of the many options below. Let's get started empowering your retirement right now. Thank you. Tim McDermott, Bobby Futch here in our Chattanooga studios. We also have an office up in Knoxville, Tennessee. Mr. Brogan is our advisor up there and doing such a great job. Today we're having a great conversation about an opportunity that we're just trying to create a little urgency for you guys. If you're listening to us or watching us, now's an opportunity to start thinking about doing some Roth conversions because taxes are on sale. Taxes are the third lowest we've ever seen. And we would just like an opportunity to show you the impact and actually what a Roth conversion actually get into. So again, Bobby, we started this show approximately 24.
Government's added $100,000 to the deficit
Since we started this show.
$100 million.
$1,000 per second, folks. $70,000 per second. While we're having this conversation, that's also fact sheet. If you digital form, text the word Roth 423-799. We'll get it sent right out to your email. Again, text the word Roth 3-710-99. Guys, when I think about retirement, I think it's contracting. I think retirement taxes are the big we talked about earlier. About converting everything. It's converting what makes sense for you and your situation and the lifestyle you want to leave. Roth conversions, they're intentional, and that's what I want to talk about with you guys. So, 10 cents. Give me some props.
We are seeing a lot of folks right now who are getting ready to retire, and they are making a great income right now, looking to retire in a year or 2 years. And typically when we run these calculations for them, we're seeing that, hey, we're not going to start these Roth conversions until you actually retire and get rid of that big salary that you have, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times that's making sense. It makes sense for 20s, 30s, even 40-year-olds to be doing this as contributions, as conversions. I will say this, if you're converting an IRA to a Roth IRA pre-59 and a half, you need to be willing to pay those taxes out of pocket. Yeah. Don't do that as a withholding because they will consider that a distribution and penalize you for it at the same time. So if we're looking at doing conversions in our young years, be willing to come out of pocket to go pay those taxes. That's a bit of a tougher burden for most folks. So I typically steer you more towards make those contributions so we don't have to worry about paying those taxes out of pocket, right?
So who's the ideal candidate here, guys?
I would say anybody that's worried about taxes in the future.
Right? Okay.
And that's most everybody. The cool thing we're seeing a lot is, people retiring, 60, 62, 65. RMD age is until 70. That's a huge window where you can really control your income.
Yep.
Right? Because the distributions out of your pre-tax retirement accounts are voluntary at that point. And so that's a big window. I would say everyone needs to look at this because your tax rates have to go up in the future, especially if you're 30, 40 years old. 30, 40 years from now, you still think tax rates are going to be this low? Probably not, right? So I think everybody needs to take a look, especially if most of your retirement savings is pre-tax.
So going to wait a minute. So we're 3:40 at 4 minutes. We'll be. What 4 minutes times? We'll be $18 million in debt since we started just this segment.
Yeah. I'd love to be able to spend that kind of money.
So what you're saying, gentlemen?
American Express, I need a limit increase.
Oh my gosh! Roth conversions are not right for everyone, Tim.
I'd say that's true, but 95% of individuals should at least consider it. And even if it's not right for you right now, there may be a time in the near future that it is.
We run every once in a while that a lot of their savings is in brokerage accounts and bank money savings.
Yep.
And so if you don't have a lot of savings or your main retirement savings isn't pre-tax, that may be one of very few situations where, it doesn't make sense because there's nothing to convert.
Or if
But we
you're a
don't see that a lot.
single individual with a really high income, it may be
Yeah.
really tough to make the tax numbers make sense.
Okay.
Right.
So I see that. So let's go tax bracket management. I like this. But about our bucket theory a little bit, because I do think our bucket theory helps people visualize and understand where Roth conversion might make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it absolutely can. And so our bucket theory, and just a couple weeks ago, we put out a really cool piece on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, you should see that.
Shout out to Tristan over there explaining our bucket strategy. So you can check it out there. But basically what it means is we got the red, yellow, and green bucket of money. And everybody should have all three as they get close to retirement.
Sure.
Yellow bucket's bank money. It's the when stuff happens money, right? You don't want to have to worry about pulling money out and paying taxes or early withdrawal penalties. Yellow bucket's in the bank. The red bucket's in the market, right? That's always important for everybody to have red bucket money, even in retirement. And then the green bucket of money is that safe and guaranteed income, right? And that's usually, at least right now, done with a properly structured fixed indexed annuity. So you don't have to worry about your income going away in retirement.
Yeah, but you just said the A word, bro.
I know. Everybody seems to have an opinion about annuities. You either really love them or you really hate them. Generally, do we find somebody right in the middle? But I promise you, they've gotten a lot better than it was when your dad or your uncle bought one and when your grandparents had one. So let's sit down and talk about them. The rates are way better than they used to be. They've got a lot more bells and whistles on them than they used to have.
Yeah.
And it really makes sense, especially with bonds being in the position they are now.
Isn't it fascinating that people just don't understand, Tim, how long annuities have actually been around? I mean, it was developed in the Roman Empire.
Yeah, I think recently we found that out. We used to think it was Wells Fargo that had the first annuity out there, but
it was actually the Roman Empire.
Yeah, right.
And what was neat, and they called which meant annual payments, and they really did it because think about all the war going on back then.
Sure.
They really did it for the soldiers and their families, which is really, really cool. Then it just keep the 1600s. Ben Franklin, Bobby, gave Pennsylvania and Boston 1,000 pounds inside of an annuity. The last payment was made to both of those cities in 1991 or 6. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But from way back then.
Yeah.
So money
And it was
out.
a couple $1 million to each one of those
It's
cities.
insane. And then, not all. I guess not my favorite, but I'm a baseball nut, right? And Babe Ruth. I mean, Babe Ruth was just an awesome dude. I mean, he had a life that was probably not so awesome, but on the baseball field.
Yeah.
And I love what he says. He's got a quote that says, "Look, I will take risk on the baseball field, but not with my income." So in the Great Depression, 1929, he took a ton of his money and put it into annuities for him and his wife at the time, and kept the luxurious lifestyle that he was living, drinking and smoking and doing all the things that man loved to do. Because he didn't worry about the crash.
Yeah.
Because he had annuities. So if the, like I said, the A word, if the word annuity frightens you, I would love to have a conversation with you and show you how they have changed. 7 years, gentlemen, the annuity is much better. A lot of people talk about the 4% rule. I'll just take 4% out of my portfolio, and that'll take me to age 90 or so, and that's great. However, we have some fixed index annuities right now paying 7, 7.5, 8, guaranteed for life.
Yeah, it's hard to beat.
It's hard to beat, and they have impairment riders tied to them. So you got to think about how to structure your plan headed into retirement. You got a point?
Can I say one more thing about tax bracket management? Because I
Please,
think this
let's
is
go.
really important. And this is the nuances of Roth conversions and why it's important to sit down with somebody who knows what they're doing to help you structure these. It's not just about whether or not you move up to the next tax bracket or not.
Sure.
Right? That's important. Don't get me wrong. That's something everybody should look at. But there's other hidden taxes in there, right?
Yeah.
If you bring so much income on your tax return every year, maybe that increases the taxability of your Social Security, right? So you're going to pay. Then you're going to pay more on your Social Security, and also for the cost of Medicare, right? That the cost of Medicare, if you have quote too much income, can really be a big thing and if you do a Roth conversion and don't think about it, not only are you paying more income tax, you're paying more earned tax, you're paying more on your Social Security and Medicare. So sometimes it makes sense to go ahead and take those bigger costs for a couple of years, but it's something you need to look at.
You know, you made me just think about something, Bobby. What our national debt actually pays for. You know, 3 of the biggest expenses are Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. You know what the fourth is? The inflation on our debt.
The interest on our debt is, over $1 trillion a year.
And growing by the day. It's crazy. So a copy of this Roth conversion fact sheet. Love to send it to you in digital form. All you have to do is text the word Roth, 423-710-9199. We're going to collect your information, then send it out to you in digital form. It's really cool because it talks about the current tax laws, the national debt, talks about inflation, and really shows you why right now, while on this window have might make sense for you. After you read that report, give us a call at that same number, 423-710-9199. Come in and have a conversation. It's absolutely free. It's complimentary. The guys are going to sit down with you as fiduciary advisors and just have a conversation and see if doing a Roth conversion makes sense for you. They're also going to talk to you about income planning, about long-term care planning, about tax planning, which we're talking about. All kinds of different things going to the strategies that we use right here at Guardian Investment Advisors. I'll copy my book, Plan Today on Tomorrow. Love to send this out to you 3 different ways. We can actually text it to you, email it, and mail it to you. 423-710-9199, 423-710-9199. I would tell you to do that quickly. We have been sending out, gosh, Tristan, lots of these over the week, lots of the books. It's absolutely free. There's a whole section, 5 or 6, chapter 5, that talks about taxes. So it's a great book. Like the Roth printout, convert, text the word Roth. If you like a copy of my book, text the word book, 423-710-9199. Come back. I want right now, why is this the perfect time to be thinking about Roth conversions? We'll be right back. Hi, my name is Gary Thurman, owner and CEO. Advisors. For years, our team has helped thousands of retirees and pre-retirees build a confident, predictable, and stress-free retirement plan. If you've worked hard for 30, 40 years, you deserve a retirement that works for you, not one filled with uncertainty, rising healthcare costs, or market concerns. At Guardian Investment Advisors, we take a comprehensive approach to retirement. That's you with building a reliable income plan so you know exactly where your paychecks will come from. Navigate Medicare with clarity, making sure you pick the right coverage to avoid costly mistakes. Preparing for long-term care needs with smart planning and protection strategies. Managing your investments with a personalized portfolio tailored to your goals, risk tolerance, and your retirement timeline. Reduce taxes wherever possible with proactive planning so you keep more of your hard-earned savings. You deserve a retirement plan built specifically for you, not a one-size-fits-all approach. Plan your retirement the right way. Connect with us using one of the many options below. Let's powering your retirement right now. Thank you. Welcome back to Plan Today on Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman, your host and CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. So glad you guys could be with us. And I'm here with my good friends, Tim McDermott, Bobby Futch. We got Brogan Walters up in our Knoxville office. So if you're listening to us on the Knoxville radio stations, give us a call. Come and see Brogan. We'd love to have a conversation with you. I'm up there with Brogan a couple of days a week. Tanner goes up there with us because we got a big Medicare push going on up there right now. And then Tim and Bobby are right here in beautiful Chattanooga, Tennessee. Doing everything they can to help you guys out, and that's what it's all about. So, again, I want to go into, whoa, Bobby, you got some new numbers for us since we started the show?
All right, we've managed to add $151,200,000 to the national debt since we started talking this morning.
That's a lot of debt, gentlemen.
What would you do with $151 million?
I would not be here.
How would you?
We'd be from an
Don't
island.
Yeah. I don't know where we'd be. Man. I can't imagine. You know, when I look at some of these numbers of some of the wealthy people out there, it just blows me away. But what are those wealthy people doing right now, gentlemen? Are they paying taxes and Roth converting?
Some of them, yes.
Yeah.
If you're smart.
Yeah. So we did create a Roth conversion fact sheet that we're happy to send out to you absolutely free. All you got to do is text the word Roth 423-710-9199. 423-710-9199. It'll talk about the current taxes, the national debt, inflation, and some other things in there to get you started. And, talk about why we created this report out of care. We created this report for educational purposes. We created this report because we feel it's our fiduciary responsibility to try to reach as many people as we can and talk about this time frame we're in, the 2026, 27, 28. Yes, the new tax laws are supposed to be permanent, but Bobby, they are
permanent until they're not.
Permanent. So, for a fact that we got this year, next year, and 2028 to get over. So, Tim, I'm going to start with you. What does a review, if these people want to come in and see you guys, what's it actually look like?
So, an easy conversation. It would make my job a lot easier. It's not. It's not. It needs to be taken in with care and understanding of the entire situation. Bobby and I fall under that fiduciary ruling, and so for us to make a recommendation to you as a potential client of ours, we really need to understand the whole situation. We'll sit down, we'll talk about your situation, what you're doing, how you're doing it, and review the accounts and tax statuses that you have, run them through a full system calculator that will then tell us the best way to pull your taxes throughout your retirement.
I think we need to know what assets you have.
Okay.
Right? And we need to know where all of your income is going to come from in retirement.
That's right.
Right, and that'll allow us to do a projection. That sounds like a simple list, but it can be quite
Absolutely. So, Bobby, someone down with us, what is it that you would like for them to bring with them?
I need to see account statements, right? I need to know what your income looks like. So the first couple pages of your income tax return really helps us out.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then your
and pension if you have one.
Right, pensions. If you happen to be one of those few lucky folks that still have a pension, that's one of the things we need to see. But again, that will help us figure out what you've got, how it's taxed, and what your different income sources are in retirement.
We have a lot of clients that retire from the same company, right? We see them come in from the exact same company, and their plans look very different, right? So just because you got the same pension as your coworker in the cube next to you and a very similar Social Security because you guys have the same salary for years, what you're spending, how you're spending it, what type of accounts and how you save throughout your working career, all of those make a difference in what this situation looks like and how it's calculated.
So with you saying that right there, and I know this for a fact, but we see so many people come in, maybe from some of the big box firms out there, and a 67 is set up in the same accounts as a 47-year-old. I mean, like we see this all the time. We don't do cookie cutter planning here. You're going to personalize this planning to that person. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's as personalized as it gets. I think, and I think appreciate that when they go through that calculator with us and they sit. I'll take a side note real quick. We had a guy sit down with us the other day, and he came back in after he got to review this calculator with us, and he says, "Why does the Roth conversion number vary so much from year to year?"
Oh, good question.
And I said, "That's a great question." And I went in depth and showed him why that changes each and every year. And it's because, hey, you guys are working right now, but you're about to turn on Social Security and then retire, and then this happens. And so the calculator is showing that this is the most intentional and the best way to do those Roth conversions. It may be 30 grand this year, but 80 grand in 2 years, or 300 4 years. It's going to vary based on your situation.
So, Bobby, you and Tim and Brogan, I mean, I've seen you guys work hours and hours and hours. Someone comes in for their first appointment. We call that our Discover appointment. They come back in for that second appointment where you're going to show them some facts. You're going to show them how we do things here at Guardian. You just put a ton of time in, a lot of hours, blood, sweat, and tears, as we want to call it. You rolled up your sleeves. You got to work. What is the obligation on that person?
Yeah, there's no obligation.
Wow.
And that's why we do the work we do and make it intentional, because if the plan doesn't work for you or you feel that you were kind of short-handed or whatever, you have no obligation to work with us. But that's rarely, right? Most of the time when you come in and see your individualized investment review, you see your individualized tax review, your risk review, where your income is going to come from in retirement. Man, that's really powerful stuff.
It
and
is.
it allows people to have the confidence that they need to have to retire strong.
And if y'all heard her barking, my dog just walked in.
Oh,
from the
that's a
office.
mascot.
Yeah, that's our mascot, Titan. He just walked in. Sorry about that. So, Bobby, let's hit on this really quick. We got just a few minutes here. And Social Security. I see so many people do it wrong, and it drives me absolutely crazy. They don't optimize their Social Security.
Yeah, optimizing Social Security oftentimes doesn't mean maximizing Social Security.
Yeah.
Waiting till age 70 very rarely makes sense for folks. Because if you're going to retire early and you need money to spend, would you rather spend Uncle Sam's money, or would you rather pull your hard-earned money out of your retirement accounts so it can't grow anymore for the next 20, 30 years in retirement? But it's really at that, again, on an individualized basis, because starting at 62, everybody for retirement age isn't the right one for everybody. When you're going to retire, how much money you make, the age gap between spouses is often overlooked, but really important. So again, I don't know when you start Social Security, Gary, but we can sit down and figure it out.
Yeah, and he just mentioned something making me spark a question to you, Tim. Bobby mentioned the word gap. We see so many people come in, and I call it an income gap. They have a Social Security, and maybe they have a pension, maybe they don't. Month and income, and Social Security and pension is going to give them $5,000 a month in income. To me, that's a $2,000 income gap. How do we fill that gap?
Yeah, in most scenarios, our clients are looking for that certainty, if you will.
Yeah.
Most folks are looking for that certainty. That's why we see that hectic market in election years, and when we're not sure of what's going on and what's happening. It's been the tariffs over the last year or so. Right now, we're looking for that certainty, and the best way to find that certainty is to use that green bucket. Go out and find one of those annuities that will guarantee an income for you. Not only is that guaranteeing an income for you so that when things go hectic in the market, your income really doesn't fluctuate. It also allows us to be a little bit more aggressive in the market with the rest of our funds so that we can maximize the growth out of them.
So we got about 2.5 minutes here, guys. Bobby, number one fear in America?
Running out of money.
Tim, number two fear in America?
Getting sick.
Getting sick. Why is getting sick a fear?
I think it's fearful now because healthcare has been one of the highest inflated programs in the United States in a while. And so folks know that it can drain their assets. It can really deplete funds that they were planning on using for other things. And so having a plan for that in place, having something to help for long-term care, to help take care of those hospital needs and those prescription drugs and that facility you may need to go into, or retrofitting the house to be comfortable there, we know can be expensive, and we want to plan to pay for it.
And doesn't that bring in the taxes, Bobby? Because longevity risk, if we're living long, stretch our income, we got, if we're living longer, we got a more opportunity to get sick. And it also pay more taxes because we're living.
More years of taxes being paid, probably at a higher rate than you are now. So if you're not planning for potentially getting sick and taxes in retirement, it's not a good income plan.
It's really not, guys. Tim, any closing last statements here, Bob?
Come see us. Let's go through it and do a Roth conversion analysis for you. Let it see what it looks like for you as an individualized
Tim, Bobby?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. But now we want to talk about that window. You
got one.
You have one right now, and you absolutely know you do it. So you need to take advantage of it because you don't know what it's going to look like.
You just maybe think of a word: procrastination.
It's easy to procrastinate.
Don't do it right now.
Now's one of the worst times.
I created what we call the Roth conversion fact sheet. We can send this to you in digital form. Gives you some good stuff about the current tax laws, inflation laws, current debt. And why does it matter to hit that time frame that Bobby just talked about? Why is right now so vital to you guys in hitting that time frame? All you have to do is text the word Roth to 423-710-9199. Again, that's 423-710-9199. And see how we plan, how we work with our clients. And if you just want a complimentary copy, good gosh, I can't talk this morning. I'm all over the place. If you'd like a free copy of my book, Plan the Day on Tomorrow, we'd love to send it to you. We can text this to you, we can email it to you, or we can send it out to you by mail, Plan the Day on Tomorrow. Same phone number, 423-710-9199. Text the word book. So let's review that again. If you want the Roth conversion, text the word Roth. If you'd like a copy of my book, text the word book. 423-710-9199. Then I invite you, after you read the review, read the fact sheet, read my book, come in and see Tim, Bobby, and Brogan, guys. It's complimentary. They'll absolutely do what's right for you because they are fiduciaries, and we stand by that, and we want to make sure Guardian is part of your family and part of your retirement. Guys, we appreciate you watching or listening to the show again next week.